Hello, welcome to Granada Reports. We are live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello, thanks for joining us on the programme this evening.
A man is brought to court to face a charge of murdering 9-year-old Olivia. Her parents watch as Thomas Cashman is remanded in custody.
Liz Truss told us her tax cuts would boost the economy, but after that U-turn, can she rebuild confidence?
Helping us help some seriously good causes. The People's Project is back.
Hello, star.
I wish that you could stay.
Broadway's loss is our gain, the much-loved book that's an on-stage hit in Bolton.
And skies were on fire this morning in the northwest. Does that mean there's rain on the way? Let's find out in the forecast later.
First, though, the court appearances by the man accused of murdering 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell in Liverpool. A provisional trial date for Thomas Cashman has been set for next March.
Olivia's mother and father were both sitting in court to watch the defendant who's been charged with murdering their daughter. Our Merseyside correspondent Andy Bonner has more.
Thomas Cashman stood handcuffed in the dock at Liverpool Crown Court, accused of the murder of 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell. The schoolgirl was fatally shot in August when a gunman chased convicted burglar Joseph Nee into her home in Dovecot. Olivia's mother was injured. Thomas Cashman is charged with attempting to murder Cheryl Corbell and Joseph Nee. He's also charged with 2 counts of possessing a firearm with intent to endanger life. Earlier, the 34-year-old from West Derby appeared before magistrates, speaking only to give his name, address and date of birth. It is just weeks since Olivia was laid to rest. Mourners wore a splash of pink, her favourite colour. In an emotional eulogy, her mother said Olivia touched many people's hearts and was loved and adored by everyone. Olivia's parents were both in court for today's hearings. Mum Cheryl and Dad John looked visibly upset as they sat in the public gallery. At one point, they each looked towards the dock. Thomas Cashman sat with his head down. The courtroom was busy with members of the media and police, with a number of officers surrounding Thomas Cashman. Meanwhile, 40-year-old Paul Russell, also from West Derby, appeared before magistrates accused of assisting an offender. The court heard he's alleged to have driven Thomas Cashman away from the scene and disposed of clothing. Both men were remanded in custody. Thomas Cashman's trial will take place in March and could last for 4 weeks. Andy Bonner, ITV News, Liverpool Crown Court.
Well, next tonight, the project on Merseyside with a growing reputation for helping young unemployed people improve their life chances.
Yes, it offers them boxing camps along with employment and education opportunities. Anna Yosef's been to see the scheme in action.
Fighting for a better future, one that takes them off the streets, away from gangs and onto a positive pathway. Stephen, who's 16, was stabbed last year. The weapons down, gloves up scheme has helped him rebuild his confidence and focus on a career.
It gets me out the house. I have become fitter mentally and physically. You get like all sorts of qualifications, you get your CSCS and all that out of it, yeah. I would like to be an electrician.
Before coming here, Josh's life was lacking direction. Now he's looking for work in the building trade.
Why do you think so many young people are getting involved in gangs?
Everyone's skint, you know what I mean? It's what it is, isn't it? It's like easy way to make money, do you think, and then they get they get brought into it and they get trapped.
Connor's been to college, but he's hoping the scheme will improve his job prospects. He knows how easy it is to pick the wrong path.
I was involved with a bad crowd, yeah, and not a lot of people see it the way I do. But I pulled myself away from all that before it got worse than it could have been.
You've got friends that have stayed in there and are still in that lifestyle?
I've got friends that have, yeah.
And what's life like for them?
I mean, they've got nice things, but nice things comes with risk. They're constantly looking over the shoulder all the time. It's not a good way to live.
Everyone who's gone through the programme has got a job, and 93% are still in employment or further education a year later.
This isn't just for kids who are on the cusp of crime or involved in crime. This is for youngsters who could potentially find themselves going down the wrong path if they're in search of money. We're giving them the opportunity to get full-time employment, a well-paid job and a career path, and further education as well once they're into work. So it's been a terrible year for the city with stabbings and shootings, and it's been awful. They're all amongst it every day of the week. They're walking the streets. It doesn't get any worse than what's going on, and what we're giving them somewhere to come in away from school, come in here, train with the coaches and the mentors, and give them a ray of light.
The project's run entirely by volunteers. Billy Moore hopes sharing his story will help others escape a life of crime and addiction.
I was about 16 years old. I developed an addiction. It took me to prison for a very long time. There was a lot of contributing factors that led to the person that I became. You know, especially when I was growing up, and this is why I love working with the kids, because there's a lot of contributing factors as to why they behave the way they do. You know, I was a kid at home. I had dreams, I had hopes. I wanted to be in the army, I wanted to box for England. I had a dad who was drinking alcohol regular, beating me up. You know, I was surrounded by violence. I felt intimidated, and I was quite scared as a kid, and I couldn't speak to anyone.
Why is investment in youth services so crucial?
Bad company corrupts good character. Well, you're in, you know, positive environments. You know, people are talking about training and getting fit. You know, they're talking about work, they're talking about employment, future employment, life skills. You know, when you're on the streets, you're talking about guns, you're talking about knives, you're talking about the Givenchy, the Moncler, the clobber you're wearing. It's all about the image orientation.
Giving young people the chance to change their lives and build a better future. Anna Yosef, ITV News, Liverpool.
Now, it used to be said a week was a long time in politics, but things can move pretty quickly in just a few hours these days.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with it all at the moment. The Prime Minister was only defending her tax cut for the highest earners to our political correspondent yesterday afternoon. Within hours, by breakfast time today, it was completely scrapped.
Well, Liz Truss's party conference is underway, and Leisha McNally is there for us.
This is a party trying to keep pace with a political whirlwind. They say they want to get Britain moving. They don't always agree on how to do it. The row hanging over this conference, tax cuts for the wealthy. When we met, the Prime Minister knew what she wanted to talk about, and it wasn't that.
Prime Minister, the mini-budget handed you a £3,000 tax cut. How are you going to spend it?
Well, what the mini-budget was about is dealing with the immediate issues that we face, the energy price spike.
So tax cuts weren't her favourite topic, but last night at least, Liz Truss was sticking to her guns.
You took billions out of the public purse in order to give some of the wealthiest in society a tax cut, and you justified it by saying it would grow the economy. So what's the example you're setting there? Because most in the Northwest are taking home a lot less than £3,000.
So first of all, the big part of the package was on energy price support. But having a lower, simpler tax system means that there is more incentive for businesses to invest in the UK and create the high-paying jobs that we need to power, economies right across our country, and that's what we are about as a government.
But they weren't about it for very long. Just hours later, the party was moving in a very different direction. Liz Truss and her Chancellor U-turned. Welcome news for this North West MP, who'd met Kwasi Kwarteng yesterday, urging him to change his mind.
So my message to the Chancellor was simple. This is not a measure that people understand or that would support the kind of voters in red wall seats like mine who voted Conservative for the first time. When we're levelling up, we need to be doing it from the bottom up, helping people most in need, making sure that they're protected, that they're kept out of poverty.
So how damaging has this been for the Prime Minister?
There's no denying it. It has not been an easy period. It's a really, really tough time. She said herself she's not the best communicator in the world. And I think she will be the first to hold her hand up and say she needs to be better at communicating with people. But what I'm glad about is she's listened.
Are you still proud to be a Conservative?
Yeah, I am a Conservative MP, and I will be one until I get kicked out at an election. But yeah, I believe in low tax. I believe in making sure people can hang on to more of the money that they earn. I believe in a small estate. I believe in making sure people can make choices about their own lives rather than have them made for them. These are conservative values. Now, we can argue about how we get there, and this last couple of days has been one of those arguments, but end of the day, cut me and I bleed blue.
So can the next few days turn things around for a party plummeting in the polls?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
This afternoon, the Chancellor gave his keynote speech, an attempt to steady the ship.
Our growth plan, set out 10 days ago, will ensure we focus relentlessly on economic growth, because we must face up to the fact that for too long our economy has not grown enough. The path ahead of us was one of slow, managed decline. But I refuse to accept that it is somehow Britain's destiny to fall back into middle league status, or that the tax burden reaching a 70-year high is somehow inevitable. It isn't, and it shouldn't be.
The front bench may have been applauding, but this conference just became even more crucial. The government's task to rebuild trust in here and sell their new economic vision, hoping eventually the wider public will buy it too. Leisha McNally, ITV News.
And the plans for a high-speed rail link between Liverpool and Hull appear to be back on the agenda today. That's according to the Prime Minister, who's pledged to build Northern Powerhouse Rail in full at a cost of £98 billion. The proposals were drastically scaled back by the government last year.
The Mayor of Liverpool, Joanne Anderson, has revealed she's been undergoing treatment for breast cancer. The Mayor, writing on the council's website, said her condition is treatable after being found during a routine mammogram. She's urging all women to attend checkups when invited.
Yeah, well said, and of course we wish her well. The first so-called super bins have been installed in Liverpool. The underground bins are designed to provide a cleaner solution for those living in terrace streets, where alleyways are too narrow for wheelie bins. Almost 30,000 homes will have access to a super bin, with the council spending £1.5 million on the scheme.
The sensors on the bins, so we know if anything goes in there that shouldn't do, so we can react accordingly. It's also airtight, so all the kind of issues of fire risk have been addressed. Then on collection day, the bin wagon comes along, uses a crane to winch it out of the ground, and then empties all the rubbish into the back of the bin wagon. All of that quickly done within 10 minutes.
That's rubbish, Mike.
No, it's true. It's definitely true. I read
That's
it earlier.
amazing. It looks like a very good idea.
OK, here's Mary with details of the ITV News.
Coming up on the programme, all the reaction from the Tory party conference after Kwasi Kwarteng's extraordinary U-turn. The Chancellor today insisted he had been listening to the criticism of the policy, despite the Prime Minister vowing to stick with it as late as yesterday afternoon. Also on the programme, a warning: a major bird flu outbreak could lead to a shortage of turkeys this Christmas. King Charles pays tribute to his mother on his first official visit as monarch. And the Beatles as you've never seen them before. Do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Now, if you're involved in a community group doing great work in your local area, and lots of you are, you could be eligible to apply for up to £70,000 to help it grow. That's because the People's Projects is back when ITV teams up with the National Lottery Community Fund to give away thousands of pounds of National Lottery funding to good causes that improve people's lives.
And the public will vote on who deserves it most. I spoke to Mel Eaglesfield, Deputy Director at the National Lottery Community Fund, a short time ago, and she explained how it works.
The People's Projects is an amazing funding programme that delivers funding right into the heart of communities all across the UK. Community groups have the opportunity to win up to £70,000 of National Lottery money to support their work.
So Mel, how do groups get involved?
So groups can apply now, and we're looking for really interesting and imaginative projects to support local communities, like Together Dementia Support in Manchester, where the group bought an accessible minibus to support people living with dementia to access group activities and reduce social exclusion.
OK, now when you add all the regions together, that's more than £4 million of national lottery funding being given away. So why do you do it?
It's amazing, isn't it? And it's so important to give the public the opportunity to have a say in where National Lottery good cause money goes. We've been working with ITV since 2005 on the People's Projects, delivering £45 million of National Lottery money to over 1,000 groups. So it's an amazing opportunity.
OK, Mel Eaglesfield from the National Lottery, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks.
So if up to £70,000 could transform a project you're involved with, head to itv.com/thepeoplesprojects.
Applications are open until 12 noon this Friday, or when the limit for applications to the fund has been reached, if this comes sooner. Terms and conditions and privacy notice can all be found via the website. Well, next tonight, a big coup for the Octagon Theatre in Bolton. It is the first in the world to turn a much-loved book into a musical.
Yeah, and it was quite a thing for the author of The Book Thief, Markus Zusak, to fly in from Australia for the opening night.
Yeah, it has all the look and feel of a Broadway show and is getting rave reviews, as our correspondent Elaine Wilcox reports.
What's this?
A book?
Where did you get it?
I stole it.
The book thief story of a young orphan growing up in Nazi Germany is loved around the world. Bolton's Octagon Theatre has turned the written word into a musical.
Hello, stars.
Hello, star.
I wish that you could stay.
I wish that you could stay.
15-year-old Bea Glancy from Whitefield in Manchester plays Liesel, sharing the leading role.
It was the best news of my life, no joke. I wanted this part so badly because I'd read the book beforehand and just completely fell in love with it and the character.
My eyesight's not so good. Who wrote this book? It's these two words here. Ah, so you can't read.
Jack Lords from Rochdale and plays Papa, based on the author's relative who showed kindness to a Jew and was punished.
What a gift, what a joy to think something of this kind of ambition and this kind of scale is right here. It's like, you know, you must see it.
G.
G for... Achoo!
Gesundheit.
Dankeschön.
The American best-selling author Jodi Picoult helped write the script, spending weeks in Bolton for rehearsals. It's a huge accolade for the Octagon's artistic director, who has her own links to the story.
Two of the main characters in the book are called Liesel and Max, and these are really special names in my family. So my brother is called Max, and my sister is called Ellen Liesel, and they are named after my great-grandfather Max and my great-aunt Liesel, who were both Holocaust survivors. So the themes of the book have always really resonated with me, and they're really special within our family. So it's a huge honour to now be bringing this story to the stage.
Farewell, stars. I hope you'll come again.
It was offered to Broadway first, and they'll be kicking themselves. It's been such a hit in a regional theatre, with standing ovations every night. Elaine Wilcox, ITV News, Bolton.
Yeah, Broadway's lost, very much Bolton's gain. OK, time for the weather now. Here's Joe.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada Weather.
Thank you. Very good evening to you. Low pressure will dominate our weather going forward, and for us that means a spell of rain tomorrow, blustery winds, showers beyond tomorrow, and our air is actually moving in from a very mild southerly direction, so temperatures by day 4 or 5 Celsius above average for the time of year. A succession of fronts will move in from the west as we go through the rest of the week, and for us in the west of the country, the gustiest winds and the most likelihood of seeing some showers, but a bit of sunshine going forward as well as we go through towards the weekend. In the meantime, this evening, you may notice winds increasing in strength over the next few hours, and particularly into the small hours of Tuesday for western coast around the Isle of Man and up on higher ground in Pennine areas. Tonight should be largely dry for most places. There's a fair amount of cloud around, maybe some mistiness here and there, and it's mild, 10 or 11 Celsius the overnight low. On to tomorrow. The sun will be up at 7:17, setting at around 20 to 7 tomorrow evening. The Isle of Man will experience some very gusty winds first thing tomorrow and a spell of rain moving in there first of all. That pushes across the whole region during tomorrow morning and into the afternoon. Although the rain will fragment somewhat, it's a rather damp end to the day with a legacy of low cloud and mistiness, particularly for the Lakeland Hills and the Pennines. Mild, but a blustery day to come. Bye-bye.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada Weather.
Thanks, Joe. Don't miss tomorrow when we're catching up with Wigan legend Sir Ian McKellen.
Yes, he's appearing in Panto in the Northwest alongside John Bishop and Mel Gedroich.
Oh, no, he isn't.
Oh, yes, he is, Lucy.
You wouldn't lie to me, would you?
No.
I believe you. OK, be sure to watch tomorrow at 6. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.